My name is Shane Ivan Nash. Stay tuned and hit that like and subscribe button.
This is the Transparency Podcast Show.
Blossom and I, in a sense, have a privilege in this space in the trans community because we have access to certain things that you don't. And looking at how you were treated on that set, I mean, to just invalidate you as somehow you're not a part of the community. That's why I said what I said about, I also wasn't really going to tell people I don't take testosterone, but
Yeah.
when she was so viscerally mean to non-binary people, I wanted to show people that, like, hey, here's the guy that you see as like this cis passing trans guy, and even I can see that to a degree. I don't have an issue with non-binary, and I can even understand it because to me personally, masculinity and femininity, everyone's trying to define what a man and a woman is. To me, it's just an energy. You
Yeah.
either radiate masculine energy, you radiate feminine energy, or you
Yeah.
radiate both, or sometimes you radiate neither.
Yeah.
It's really just a spectrum there, and it's we're all humans at the end of the day. Again, I'm a trans guy, and I know what it's like to take testosterone and basically grow a small penis. So
Yeah.
I realized that women's bodies are very similar to men's bodies. And once I realized that, I was like, why are we fighting in this world? It doesn't really make sense that there's such a gender bias.
Yeah.
But again, I wanna give you space
Yeah.
because it really hurt me to see, the non-binary community attacked in the way that it is, because
Yeah.
me personally, again, I'm a binary trans person, but I don't see you any less a part of the community than I am, especially even in my pre-transition days. So please let
Yeah.
us know.
And we will not disrupt you, we promise.
Yes.
I promise. I'm here to get the tea.
Honestly, no, I really appreciate you both. And, you know, maybe I'll start this with saying what the actual definition of transgender is, for, everybody out there who's listening. So to be transgender means that you fall outside of the gender binary. Non-binary people non-binary people fall outside of the gender binary. So therefore, non-binary people can indeed call themselves transgender because they are not within the gender binary. So, very simple for those of you who actually wanted to know the real definition. You do not need to have transitioned in order to be transgender. A very important question or a very important point to make is pre-transition. If you're a transgender person, pre-transition, would you call yourself transgender? Still? Are you still transgender? Yes, you are, because you are. If you are a transgender, you're a transgender pre-transition as well. So I just want to clarify that to everybody so everybody knows. Um, but yes, one thing I also want to make sure is that people know that I speak from my own experience. This is my own non-binary, gender fluid experience. I've had my own journey. I'm still figuring out who I am every single day. Things change, things evolve. That's just part of being human. And also a really good part of being human is the ability to evolve. Um, but it was very painful to kind of watch that back, and then just think about all of the other non-binary people who are watching it and thinking, and like maybe people who do relate with me, and thinking like, damn, they're seeing me be attacked, and then like now they're kind of under attack as well. It's like it's this contagious thing. Like now they feel attacked. And so it's just painful to think about all of the other people who now feel a certain type of way after watching that. And maybe some of them feel empowered. Like I didn't want to hold back what I was feeling in the moment. And, when the show was presented to me, it was presented to me more of as a discussion versus a debate.
Yeah.
And I was told you don't have to like debate necessarily. You can just, tell your story essentially, like,
Mhm.
and then maybe you guys do find some middle ground. Great, cute. I'd seen like a couple of episodes before. I didn't want to bias myself too much. But the ones that I'd seen weren't too bad. Yes, there was like some little things here and there, but it wasn't too bad. So when I went on set, I was expecting a discussion, not a debate and an attack and to be interrupted.
Mhm.
It was every single time I spoke, I was interrupted.
Mhm.
There was maybe that's a lie. I think there was one time when I wasn't interrupted, but the entire time I was thinking, I'm gonna be interrupted. I'm gonna be interrupted,
Yeah.
which was distracting me. And I couldn't get my points across. Like I felt just there were a lot of unfinished thoughts because I was again being interrupted so often. But there's so many important things that I wanted to share with everybody about what it means to be non-binary, about my struggles, because there are so many shared struggles. And this has become now a podcast talking about how Blair was awful, at middle
I mean,
ground,
it
which
is
it
what it
kind of is what
is,
it is
you
because
know? We've gotta address the elephant in the room,
she
and
was
that's what
being
I
most
wanna do,
aggressive out of
you
out
know?
of the others, and to be quite honest, like, the others, I feel like I was fine. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, I woulda had no
same.
problem had
I came to
Blair.
middle ground on some of them, and, you know, the thing that I saw, she even put out a video, I think, before the video even came out, where she's like, "Come on, y'all, I can't do all the heavy lifting." It's like, you're even hurting your own team when I just
Yeah.
don't get that. It just
Yeah.
seems like she's on an
And
island
then
by
somebody
herself.
No,
said,
it's so
"Blossom, I love you."
ridiculous.
And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, like it's just we just have differences of opinion, but
Yeah.
that's okay." And you're
Yes.
absolutely right. Like they were that's what I debate on an every day. And I think with
Mhm.
Jubilee, when it comes to how they pick conservatives, they pick them more that are much more like moderate or much more open
Mhm.
Yeah.
to listen to the other side. That I will say they're very meticulous about that. They don't usually pick a lot of extremists like Blair.
Yes.
Blair is
That
an
was shocking.
extremist.
That was shocking. That
Yeah.
was
The
a
energy on
shocking.
the set, I gotta tell you, I'm sure that there's folks that caught that where I was just, like, breathing and I looked, you know,
Mhm.
viscerally upset. I didn't wanna look her in the eyes because the energy that she was radiating was just it was just horrific,
That's
honestly.
funny because
It
I
was
wanted to
really
look her in the eyes.
I didn't want to. I didn't wanna, like, even give that any energy because it's so sad feeling. Like, when I was sitting next to her, there was this sadness that I felt, almost as if, like, it's like this person that's not getting chosen by one community, so they're
Yeah.
running to another, and they're locking themselves in a room to perform with for a community that ultimately hates them, so that's gotta be a hard life to live. In some weird way, I hate to say it, and I know you don't quite agree, Blossom, but I still feel some sorrow for her that she
Mm.
has to
Mhm.
live that way because I can see how she may have gotten to where she has and being isolated from communities in some ways. Because sometimes community can look at me as a white trans guy
Mhm.
and go, you know, that guy's got everything in the world. And people have projected things on me from my own community, but I've had to learn the maturity of understanding why those folks are even in that position in the first place and not project my own traumas out onto others. You have to heal.
Yeah. Can I tell you the
Yeah.
reason why? It's not that I disagree with you. I just understand that you're a white trans man
Yeah.
and I'm black.
Yeah.
So it just looks too different because let me tell you what also happened. So I'm on Twitter. Someone posted an old racist video of Blair
Mm.
saying that every time she snubs her toe, she uses the N word. They
Oh my
tagged
god.
me and Blair. But this was after the
Recent?
debate. This is very
Okay.
recent. So it was way after the debate.
Yeah.
So, it was just like, that's that. And so when I looked at that video, it's like, this isn't shocking to me. This is not shocking to me at all. It just made what I did in that video much more powerful.
Mhm.
And this is why I said earlier about this was a win because sometimes when we get caught up in other people's drama and the conservatives and all of the things or whatever, we sometimes forget that there are people who are supporting us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been focusing on because the people that have come to me and said, Blossom, thank you
Mm.
for going on there and saying something about grassroots.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying something about, even though you're not non-binary, but thank you for saying what you said about
Mhm.
non-binary people.
Yeah.
Like you were just debating, like, and the thing is though, that platform is helping me grow as a debater. And that's what I told the producers. It's like, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to strengthen my debating skills, but this is what I was saying. Like, we were such a representation of our community that can't take Blair and that can't take Buck. And the only thing I kept getting from trans conservatives is to a certain degree, and this is where I may have middle ground sympathy for them, is they feel left out because they think the reason why they're not a part of the trans community or whatever is because of their political views.
Yeah.
And that's not really the case. It's much more about the bigotry,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
racism, the
Exactly.
isms, and all of the things. And
The
so
misogyny,
the
all of it.
misogyny,
Yeah.
all of those things. And so it's just like, well, how do we heal from here? But this is my thing. Because past this podcast, I don't think I'm gonna talk too. I don't think I'm gonna name drop Blair White too much more. Because
Same.
number one, she's not gonna get all my peace and my energy. But I also want us to begin to address the systemic racism and anti-blackness within the trans community.
Mhm.
But I thought it was really, really important to say these things or whatever because I speak for so many people. I really do. And I was powerful, but for you as a non-binary person to take up space, and this is what I need you to understand, that was really powerful because, and it was really powerful for the non-binary community to see us walk. Well, what did we do? Did we stay back on a prompt or walk up to a prompt about non-binary people? I can't.
I
I
can't
have to go back and look at
remember.
the video,
I
but it was
believe we
it was the
walked up, yeah.
yeah, we walked up to a prompt on saying, oh, that the non-binary community should be included in the trans community. And we
Mhm.
all walked up, the four liberals. And don't you know how refreshing? Somebody commented and said, "Thank y'all for walking up. Thank you for saying that we should be in the trans community." And it's like, that's just human. Like, I'm human. That's just the humane thing to say. And that's why I said, like, I have friends that are non-binary, and some of the people that Blair has talked about in her videos were my friends. There are people I care about that are non-binary.
Yeah.
So, like, how dare you mistreat them?